Good evening. Welcome to the Sports Doyen. Sorry for the delay, but we are here. We are here previewing Chelsea versus Real Madrid, the second leg. Real Madrid there with probably a disadvantage there, and Chelsea, the team going into the particular tie as the favourites in the second leg at least. They're the team who lead on away goals. After the 1-1 draw at the Real Madrid training ground. I think it's the Santiago Bernabeu. No, it's not so Alfredo Di Stefano Stadium. If I'm
Yeah.
not wrong, yeah, that's the training center. That's what they call it. I have with me here Vijay, Sushil, Pratmesh, and as we see, we also have Siddharth joining us. Welcome to you guys. आज का match interesting match होगा. I'll start with you, Sushil, to get a little bit of a neutral point of view. कैसे
Yeah.
देख रहे हो यार ये match, this particular tie between Chelsea and Real? As I mentioned earlier, Real go into it on a bit of a back foot. Though Chelsea must be kicking themselves for not finishing Real Madrid off last week. Where do you think this tie is placed, and who would you be deeming as the favourites heading into it?
I mean, right off the bat, for me, the favorites are going to be Chelsea for the simple reason that I thought for the first half in that first game, they were brilliant, and the only reason Madrid were able to come back in it, I think there was a formation shift and they changed their tactics. But I think Tuchel will be able to anticipate that now, and given how well they played at the start of that game, I think as long as they enter this game with the same mentality and the same sort of setup, they'll be able to do well against Chelsea. Interestingly, Chelsea's women's team reached the Champions League final on their end a couple of days ago. So it'll be nice to see the men's team follow suit. I think in terms of the personnel, for me, the keys will be, along the wings. I think Pulisic was really amazing in that first leg, and I'm hoping to see a great performance from him this time around too. Uh, on Madrid, I don't know, man. They like we've been saying all along, because they've done this so many times, they may have some tricks up their sleeve. But I think I'm pretty certain that this Chelsea squad can see it through, particularly because I was very impressed by them in the first leg. So yeah, I mean those are my views on the game, and yeah, since we have two Chelsea fans here, I'm sure they'll be happy to hear that. But yeah, let's see how things play out today.
I'll come straight off to Vijay. I am sure Vijay and Rege both will be very consistent with the fact you don't call us favorites. We're never the favorites, this, that, and the other. But Vijay, coming to you, man, क्या लग रहा है? Do you think I would be wrong in classing you guys as the favorites, or do you still think with all the experience that Real Madrid have in this squad of winning the Champions League, that we're probably doing them a bit of a disservice by not calling them as the favorites here?
If you could do me a favor, my response to that would be me reading the Real Madrid lineup. Yeah, I think there's no way, and that's probably my answer to that question too. That I agree with everything Shasil said, except the fact that he thinks that I'd be happy that he thinks we're favorites. I don't care. But my thing is that team has any player who can produce a sublime, miraculous performance, right? And I think the difference between Chelsea and Real Madrid at this point is Chelsea are still the place where they have to earn that miracle. They have to earn that. None of their players, maybe I think even if you look at the most experienced one, Thiago Silva, is still having his disadvantage, which is age. But Real Madrid have players in their prime, and these aren't just players, right? These are like midfield gods, defending, tyrants. And I think Sergio Aguero is classified in some countries as a cold-blooded killer, but especially Egypt, I think. Yeah, and so when you have a team that is so, and the word I use is the word that probably every Madrid fan would also use, professional in the way they reach Champions League finals, in the way they win Champions Leagues. We can, I mean, I don't see a situation where we are favorites. It's uh, it's going to be. I'm going to try to use the last probable miracle that we had at this stage of the Champions League, which was in 2012, where it was that Lampard turn and that Ramirez chip that helped
Yeah.
us earn the miracle of that Torres goal. And that's what I think we need. We need that first half, or like I guess happened in the first leg, that first half display that shows confidence, that shows that we aren't here to bow down to professionals. And I think that's what I'm really hoping for. But in terms of talking tactics, in terms of talking expectations, I'm sorry, I'm just a 4-year-old kid waiting to watch Brazil versus France at the World Cup semis. It's just a good feeling to be a fan of Chelsea right now today.
The way you
Absolutely.
describe professional versus whatever the other thing is, it felt like you're talking about Blackburn versus Old Etonians back in the 18th century.
Really, only a reference for yourself there, Pratmesh. It
Is
didn't
that like a
catch on.
sculpting reference? Like what?
Blackburn versus the Etonians. Are you talking about that? About
The
the
first
Messi?
ever FA Cup, yeah, the first ever FA Cup
Yeah,
working
yeah,
class
yeah,
team that won. Yeah,
yeah. So you're talking about that particular series on Netflix. All right,
yeah.
Rege, coming to you, man. A little bit of echoing Vijay's thoughts, और अभी cut from a different cloth. हम लोग यहाँ पे भी अपना jinx strategy लेके आ रहे हैं for Chelsea. Are we doing that, or
Please,
are we
please.
confident?
See, I am not as skilled at being an ambassador as you are. Okay, so I'm just going to be echoing what Vijay said. It just feels so good to be a Chelsea fan right now. I mean, going to the Di Stefano Stadium and dominating Real Madrid. After that, you have to be confident, man. I mean, if you
Yeah.
just pray that you put the same performance, Conte continues to be the god that he is today itself, and then you hope that the I won't name him, the man at the front knows finally puts it in. I mean, oh my god. The problem is if we end up losing today, he's absolutely going to get murdered, by the media and by the fans. And I don't want that happening because it will completely. He looks like he's getting some form back, and at this moment when that happens, also, although I want Werner to play, I feel that Havertz might get the pick because he's just been more clinical than him. You know, at in the box, and in these games you need that spark. So maybe that happens. I don't know, but a massive game for us. And I hope Eden Hazard does not revive his career today because he's going to be playing, and he was absolutely crazy in that last game. So hoping for the best. If we do what we did at the Di Stefano Stadium, I am absolutely confident that we're going.
All right, fair enough. Quickly, I'll come to you, Pratmesh, as well. यार किसको favorites देख रहे हो? Who are you looking as the favorites for the game today? And in
Blackburn.
terms, yeah, firstly,
I
Or
wish.
or the
or
Ottomans.
Eton, yeah, Ottomans,
Yeah.
not the Ottomans.
Turkey
But
चला गया बंदा.
all right, Pratmesh, coming to you. What are your thoughts on the game, man?
See, first of all, I mean, I would like to be in the Chelsea camp right now than Real Madrid because Chelsea obviously have the away goal, and it is not just about the away goal; it's the way they dominated the first leg, and I think that will count for a lot. In spite of the fact that they couldn't finish, or there is this moment where Timo Werner should have found the back of the net, but instead found the goalkeeper instead. So in spite of all of that, I think they will get a lot of confidence. It needed a moment of absolute brilliance for Benzema to score and put that tie on level. And I think even after that, it never looked like Real Madrid were going to clinch that winning goal. So it still is Chelsea's game to lose. I would say that to be honest, I couldn't care who goes in the final, but. As long as anyone stops Man City from winning the Champions League, I mean, anyone can go in there. As Anurag put in the comments as well, like Takludar bhi dekhne ka bahut अच्छा है भाई को. And it must be some fun, but I think it looks more likely to be Chelsea right now. I think the best thing for them is that they have a formation that works. Thomas Tuchel, we know, is someone who's very smart and very adaptive within games, and I think before games as well. His tactical prowess shows. We saw that in the semi-final as well against Man City. We might see that today again. We saw it in the first leg as well. So it looks good. I think that if there was any area of concern, I feel it would be that right hand side of Chelsea's defense. Christensen, Aspilicueta, and if they are 1v1 against Hazard or even Vinicius for that matter, that is one area that is of slight concern. But I don't think at the end of the day, there will be a lot of consistency in that. So it still looks like a Chelsea advantage for me because even if you go for Hazard or Vinicius, at this point of time, both of them are slightly under the radar in terms of what is expected out of them and what they're actually giving out. So yeah, I mean, I would rather be Chelsea, rather pick Kai Havertz as sit side, instead of Timo Werner. But that could affect them in a different way because Havertz won't stretch the back four as much as Timo Werner will, and I think eventually one of them is bound to go in as well. So I mean, it's a difficult one at this point of time.
All right. Hi, Anurag. Welcome to the stream, and also, yeah. All right. Sushil, quickly, you had a point to make before I head to the comments right now.
Yeah, I think we're a little removed from when that point was discussed earlier, but about going into the match as favorites or not going into the match as favorites. Obviously, the fans will have one viewpoint on it, but I think as a team, it's really important to not let Real Madrid have that edge over you, because the fact of the matter is the players aren't as good as they once used to be. And if you give them too much respect, they will bully you around, and they know to do that. They know all the tricks in the book to be able to make those moments of difference off the ball. And
Absolutely.
so I think while it's okay for Vijay and Sid to sort of say we don't want to be perceived as favorites, I think the Chelsea players and the Chelsea manager should not approach this game with that mindset. They should go in um, with without any inhibitions, and they should try and win this match. Just wanted to add
Absolutely.
that.
I think
Yeah.
yeah, Sushil, and in the home game against Porto, they have a complete blueprint of what can happen. If they're not clinical enough, if they don't take their chances. That was another match that I felt Chelsea dominated from right from the start, but couldn't take their chances and had to pay for it in that, and they can't afford such a result tonight. So I'm sure Tuchel would have learned from it. I also agree with you, Sushil. I think the best way for Chelsea to go for it will be to go for the neck and try to get in a goal, maybe to right at the start and finish the tie off right there and then, as Man City did last night, right? That's exactly what they did. So wonderful performance by Manchester City, and I think whoever wins either of these two teams, they'll find it extremely difficult against Man City in the final to actually get their hands on the trophy, because Manchester City are playing football. When they turn it on, Chelsea fans, of course, would like to remind us about the FA Cup semi-final victory, and which is fair credit to Thomas Tuchel over Pep. But when Man City decide to turn it on, almost no other team in Europe can right now live with them. So I'll take a few comments and I'll come to you, Anurag, right after that. Vipul says, "अरे आज post match live इतना जल्दी? So sorry, IPL suspend हो गया. Still too soon, Vipul. It will forever be too soon." Based on their form this season and quality of players, can City win the final? Absolutely, Vipul. He's a Man City fan, by the way, guys. So of course he's asking questions which have obvious answers. Yes, brother. I'm pretty sure Man City can win the Champions League, and they probably will win the Champions League. Rahul says, began watching football to understand your live conversation. Arey bhai, wow. Thank you so much. I think Vipul's even complimented him. Rahul Sinha, ऐसा
Prathamesh is
TRP
hard mode for that topic.
yeah, absolutely. So thank you so much, Rahul. Do keep watching, and do keep watching as much football as you can. It's called the beautiful game for a reason. Anurag says, need the Taklu Derby at any cost. He's talking about Zizou and Pep. All right, midfield battle crucial again. Okay, all right. Coming to you, Akshay. Of course, Akshay is a Chelsea fan. He's generally with us on our lives. Anurag, sir. Yeah, Anurag, yes, sir. 5 UCL titles between them. It will be fun to watch. Let's see. Thomas Tuchel says, hi, fellas. Hi, Thomas. I suppose Amaya says, biggest game of the season. So nervous for this game. All right. Vipul says, Thomas, why did PSG sack you after you took them to the. All right. We'll probably get an answer from Thomas there. Just hope we don't concede a fluke goal like we did versus Porto. That would break my heart. I mean, I was saying, I mean, I was mentioning that match. I think Chelsea need to be wary of that. Timo will start just because of his pace, which can trouble Ramos, who likes to attack the ball. I have a
He
feeling.
should.
I think
He
Ramos
should.
starts. Sorry, Ramos over. I think Timo Werner starts in place of Havertz. I think Havertz stays on the bench, purely because of Timo Werner's runs and his pace, which both of them can provide. Can give Madrid a lot of issues. अच्छी है चेल्सी हो या मैड्रिड ट्रॉफी तो पापा ही पेप ही लेके जाएंगे अच्छा ठीक है प्रणव देखते हैं Tuchel saying Vipul to stop Mbappe joining Real Madrid by beating them in the semis with Chelsea. Oh, long term plans. All right. Manish says Vijay always has that look on his face where he's going to give a mic drop moment. He always does,
Yeah,
Manish,
he knows.
and he often does give that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Rohan says, chill night, Aj, popcorn is ready. All right. Akshay says, Pratmesh full par अपना regular jinx कर रहा है. Let's see. Vipul says, Werner to score from 6 yards in tonight's 1-0 Chelsea win. I'm sure both the Chelsea fans here would be very happy with that. All right. कल का सिटी हेट खत्म नहीं हुआ प्रथमेश का ऑल राइट प्रणव ऑल राइट टाइटल वो कभी भी नहीं खत्म होगा प्रणव अरे थोड़ा रोने रोने दे भाई दर्द हुआ है उसको
Only one City team that I care about is Mumbai. Otherwise,
Diaz,
everyone else can.
Diaz and Stones yesterday. Yes, once again. I mean, Man City.
Yeah,
mean,
all
needs
of them
to-
are getting banned collectively.
Special and also
Sure.
special appreciation to Diaz. The way he was throwing his body around, reminded you of the days of John Terry's and Nemanja Vidic.
Can I just add on
Absolutely.
that? Ruben
Yeah.
Diaz signed his shirt and sent it to John Terry yesterday. It was on his Instagram. It was pretty cool. And I don't know. I find like things like that really lovely.
Okay, lovely, nice. I'm pretty sure Rio Ferdinand or Vidic won't ever ask for a City defender's shirt, but yeah. I'm sure if any Spurs or Arsenal defenders plan to have any decent seasons, fuck, what am I talking about? Anyway, रोहन says चलो आज ओजी फुटबॉल पैनलिस्ट आ गए हैं अच्छे वाले गुड टू सी सम प्रॉपर यूसीएल डिस्कशन ऑल राइट रोहन Diaz leadership skills yesterday. I mean, I think that's a gem that City have signed.
OG panel and Sid Rege we have today. Wonderful to see
Yeah,
that.
and Sid Rege. See, this is called professionalism. KD bhai, even though he's a United fan, he's a
between the MIs and the CSKs, you need someone from SRH, to keep that balance.
All right, enough of the cricket banter here. But yes, Thomas says Mbappe to Liverpool. All right, here we go.
Why is Tuchel saying that?
I don't know,
Exactly.
man. I mean,
That's like
it's a
Modi
double-
saying, "May the
it's a-
fourth be with
Call
you,"
me.
right?
Yeah.
Call me. Let's talk.
All right. Okay. The white team needs to win 2 consecutive games in the UCL. All right. Rudiger needs
Oh,
to channelize his inner Kaiser tonight. Okay. I meant Chelsea above. Marina has promised me for the summer. Okay. He meant Chelsea, not Liverpool. All right. Zinchenko was great too. Yeah. Rio Ferdinand actually has been simping
That's
a
a
lot
pretty-
for Chelsea.
Anyway, I was going to say that's a pretty elaborate mistake to make. They're not even spelled the same. But okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Send him
yeah, it's
away.
okay. Yeah. Still send him your way, isn't it? But yeah, Rio actually has been simping a lot for Chelsea on social media. All right, हमें Rege is OP and Rege भाई का against मैं कुछ नहीं सुनूंगा. हाँ ठीक है कोई कुछ कह भी नहीं रहा Rege भाई के against. All right, I'm coming to you, Anurag. Talking about this particular semi-final, I can't really not talk about that Man City match. We'll discuss that a little while later. But just your initial thoughts on the game and how both the teams are placed right now.
It's great, and there is one player I genuinely would not want today to score, even if Chelsea win, and that is Mason Mount, because he's actually looking. He could potentially break Wayne Rooney's record of being the youngest Englishman to score in a Champions League semi-final. Just not that it really matters, but I just it would help in these tough times.
Yeah.
These little things do help us a lot. So yeah, coming to the game, Chelsea are coming out of that all-out, very strong defensive juggernaut. which has proven to be such a tough nut to crack for every team that is
Sam Allardyce.
who've come across them. Yeah, Sam Allardyce is laughing at this. I know that. Yeah. Besides
Yeah.
that man, I think a lot of other managers have found it really difficult. Sam Allardyce of all people. Come on. Oh God. And I'm still trying to picture Narendra Modi in that Star Trooper costume. Thank you so much for that thought, Vijay. Yeah. Uh, I don't know. I just don't see Real Madrid really getting anything past Chelsea, but it's just that experience. And we've been talking about this a lot of times, I know. But directors versus people's champ, my okay, fine. I don't want to complete that segment. Uh,
Thank you.
I, I think I've made it good. Okay, that's
Kushagar,
fine.
save us from Anurag's wisdom.
Yes.
I was listening to you, Anurag. My question to you would be, where would the beard go?
Yeah, I
Oh,
had that thought, but then I decided not to bring it up because we are a sports channel.
All
So,
right, all right.
it's all
Somehow
right.
I thought of Sam Allardyce with a beard, and I
oh, that would be lovely. Imagine
Uh,
Sam with
oh,
Kushagra's beard.
Not just mine. I think it's probably going for a longer one, dude.
that's
Uh,
just about the nicest and simplest form of beard. That's the Modi beard, which he has the hardcore one, jo idhar tak
I
aata hai.
think we're
Imagine
digressing,
Allardyce.
guys.
Yeah,
I
we are
think
Yeah,
I think
absolutely
good.
I'm not
We've
sure. I
digressing.
digressed.
think.
you
We've
think
digressed
so?
the moment you put that thought. I blame you.
yeah.
Yeah.
I blame you. I think बहुत easy है एकदम. Anyway, coming to you, यार. Coming to you, Sushil. I'll start with you. I know you do have some sympathies for Real Madrid when it goes, but perhaps Papa Perez has taken all of those sympathies away. So I how heartbreaking is it for you as a European Super League fan, or sorry, not a fan, as a European Super League contestant clubs fan? It's a very long fix I'm making. We
Yeah,
were
yeah.
all going for PSG because the other three teams were absolute assholes to their fans. But it's not like PSG are some champions of morality either. So, what, who would it hurt the least if the trophy went to? Is my question,
Out
Sushil.
of the teams remaining, that's a good
Yeah,
question
Real
actually.
Madrid. I am going for a
No,
14
not for
points.
me. Not for me.
No, looks like the first.
I would, I would be fine with Man City winning it. Actually,
Yeah, he
I
would.
would
There's
be.
no one
You
to
know
celebrate it.
about
Yeah,
that, and also I think it's more to do with Guardiola, right? He's not been at this stage of the competition for what, a decade now, and in
Yeah,
that time he's had one of the most amazing performances as a league manager in whichever club he's been at. And so I think out of Zidane's been there, done that. Not, there's no story there.
Too
It's just
many
going to be
times.
another. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Tuchel would be interesting, but I feel like if Chelsea win it this time, it'll be a lot like the last time they won it, where it's
won't
sort
it
of a
won't it be
manager.
like 2012? Won't it be
Yeah,
like exactly like 2012? Like ऐसा कोई squad नहीं है कि you can expect it 2013 में they'll be favorites or anything like that.
yeah,
But
Yeah.
and
yeah,
and
it's a great
it's
great moment to win.
yeah, and that sort of in terms of narrative, right? I mean, I honestly don't care which of the three teams win it since Liverpool aren't there anymore. But in terms of narrative, I think it fits really nicely into Pep Guardiola's because he's been at the club for 5 years, and this is the one trophy that's evaded him. So I think them winning it would probably make the most sense from a story perspective. And in terms of as a Liverpool fan, it would also not hurt as much for me. Chelsea,
Oh
like, as you
yes.
know, I'm not a huge fan of, and Real, and in fact, Real and Barca, I hate both of them. So I'd be fine with City winning.
There's some shoulder history there. It's fine.
Right. Also, just an update for all fans, especially Liverpool and Man United fans. The rearranged fixture is going to go down on for 13th of May, 8 p.m. British time, so which is 12:30 India. So yeah, nah, Thursday nights forever, dude. Thursday nights forever.
So
Nah,
what
all
if they
right.
protest during that game?
15th protest. Protest is
Yeah,
currently scheduled 15th. What if they protest on the 13th? I don't know. They might.
yeah.
We'll
Just
watch
by
something.
the way, keeping all of this aside, Massive kudos to the former Chelsea boss, Antonio Conte, for what he's gone and done in Italy.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
Inter
brilliant.
Milan,
Massive
massive,
kudos,
massive,
massive,
massive
massive kudos.
congratulations to Inter Milan. I
Yeah.
read somewhere, I read somewhere how Inter won the league, and they're now, because the parent company, the Chinese parent company, Suning, has been asked to appropriate their assets by the Chinese Communist Party. Suning is actually now looking to focus more on their primary business, and they'll probably sell off their most important players, the likes of Lautaro Martinez, Romelu Lukaku, and all
Yeah.
the other players that Skriniar and other people have been linked with. They apparently are again
Fire sale.
on the market, and there's going to be a fire sale. Sandro Tonali is
Yeah.
also there, a part of that. So I
Wow.
think there were some really good young players, or really good players in general that people could pluck out of. I'm pretty sure four players will stick around. Three of them at least. Ashley Young, Alexis Sanchez, and
Ashling's
Matheus
going to
Cunha.
Watford.
He's going to
Ashling's
Watford.
going back to Watford.
He's
Yeah.
coming back to Watford. All right,
If it
chalo. At
matters.
least he's won a
Guys,
league medal.
it's a Champions League night. It's illegal to talk about Ashley Young going to Watford today. Yeah.
we were talking about Inter Milan, and it is just, I mean, just
You should have
massive
joined
kudos to
yesterday's
Nerazzurri.
discussion.
Massive kudos to the
Yeah.
Nerazzurri. Coming back to this particular, to what happened last night. I'll start with you, Vijay. As looking as someone who's got a stake in the competition, how bloody good were Man City last night, and what do you think Phil Foden's ceiling is really? I mean that boy has been like on flames.
I'm so glad you said Phil Foden because one of the other takeaways from tonight is how good does it feel to be Reece James and Mason Mount to be like starters of a Champions League semi-final, like nailed down, and you're going to play against Sergio Ramos, Benzema, and like decide whether you're going to the final.
yeah,
And I think maybe Real Madrid more than PSG in terms of the caliber of opponents or the stature of the game that you're playing with. So, but I'm pretty sure Phil Foden. I mean, just the way that team, KDB, Phil Foden, and Riyad Mahrez just, I don't know, clicked yesterday for those goals. And I think I don't know. Like every time we complain about Timo Werner, I just look at City without a striker and just like, why am I complaining? Like it's been done before with like worse conditions, and now they've reached the Champions League final. With respect to being a young player playing in the Champions League final, I think back to the times of where Ryan Bertrand played against Bayern Munich, right? But that was sort of as an emergency. But like I said, with respect to Mason Mount and Reece James, just knowing that they're playing tomorrow, and even if Hudson Odoi starts at what 20, he's not even 20, is he?
He's 20.
You're talking about Foden. Foden
No,
is
Hudson
Odo is
Odoi.
no, yeah,
20.
Foden is 20.
20, right? And Hudson Odoi is also around that age, and all of
Hudson
these
Odoi
guys.
is
He's
in
20.
2021. Yeah, I think it's around
No,
the
he's
same age.
20.
Yeah.
He's 20.
All right.
Yeah, and that's my point. We can dream of getting tickets to games at that age, and they are playing them, right? So I don't know. It just shows I think the level to which the modern game has changed, and also the way these people have excelled. I know that Sushil mentioned once on the podcast that one of and when we chose Pep Guardiola as the manager of the decade, right? And we sort of went towards the fact that he won most of the European stuff with Barcelona. But now that, but he kind of balanced at that time by saying in terms of player development, and just to see the way that all of those City players, like even though you can say that all of them are marquee signings playing together, they are all marquee players that sign for Man City and go well above the level of marquee signings, and that's something I think Pep Guardiola does, and it is actually one of the reasons why, if it does come to Real Madrid and City, I would think Guardiola deserves this as a culmination of years and years of work with Manchester City.
All right, all right. Let's see. Let's see how that goes. As far as Manchester City are concerned, I think, as Vijay quite rightly put it, they're a stunning team, and as he was talking about Foden and the likes of Mason Mount and Reece James, it must be such a proud moment as well for these youngsters to have come up through the academy of their own clubs in a way, right? This is their club, and to actually come through the ranks and play at such a level for your club is just amazing. And I think there is a comment here that we would like to take from Ame. The age of
Yeah.
some Chelsea players, Chilwell, Mount, Kai Havertz, James, and Hudson-Odoi. And also, if I'm not wrong, Timo Werner himself is just 25. He's not that old. 24,
Yeah.
25 this year. I think 25 this year. So you can
Yeah.
see all of these guys so young, and it's a great nucleus that they built for their squad. And that is something that I've always lauded Chelsea about, because if you look at Chelsea since Abramovich took over, they've really worked on the Cobham training ground that they have. They've really worked at making their academy one of the best academies in the country, and that has reaped its rewards. If you saw, Chelsea won the FA Youth Cup for like 6, 7, 8 years in a row at one point, and they've had the most. I think the most English call-ups have been through the Chelsea academy in the past decade. And you can see a lot of their loanees or a lot of the players who used to play at Chelsea, up and down the leagues in England, even abroad. You see a lot of players. So for sure, Chelsea have done a fantastic job when it comes to try to groom their youth, youth players, and put them into the first team. It has not worked out all the time, but it seems to be bearing fruit now in the last couple of seasons since they had the ban and everything else. Uh, Akshay Jain says, big fan Anurag sir. At this moment that you said Akshay, Anurag's not here, I'll try to take this comment again. I'm not entirely sure if you're taking the piss there, but yeah. Sushil, well said. I'll hate to see Man City win it, but yes, Pep deserves it. One of the Taklus for the trophy. Chelsea. All right. This hair loss, people will keep coming after us after this. I've read rumors of Spurs being interested in Conte. Hope this move doesn't go through. I mean, for Conte's sake, yes, I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
But for FPL guys, Man United have a triple game week.
Nice.
All right, Varun gave up on it a long time back. We'll be
Yeah.
back next season. Shivam says we want a Jose versus Conte derby. Conte signed the contract. I mean,
I
what
don't think
Jose-
they have the money to pay him now. I mean, he's talking about Inter versus AS Roma next season.
No, I don't think he'll ever go to what AS Roma. It's not a derby. It's just
Yeah,
a
it's
match.
not. It's not.
It's just a
not.
match,
He's
yeah.
just
Yeah.
he's just talking about.
provided Conte sticks around, that is right.
Yeah.
Provided Conte sticks around. Fernandez, the captain, 3 penalties. Varun, all right, okay. Varun says, by the way, hello. Want Chelsea to win? Need an all English final. भाई तेरे को क्या मिल रहा है all English final से? All of that coefficient nonsense is gone. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Only में 2
Exactly.
साल में 6 टीमें हो जाएंगी अपनी इंग्लैंड से चैंपियंस लीग में. ठीक है, की फर्क पैंदा कौन जीत रहा. मैं कह रियल मैड्रिड को जिताओ, जीतने तो ले जान दो ट्रॉफी. मैं कह रहा हूँ कोई ना जीते. Atul says Chelsea. All right, Atul.
Yeah.
Okay. Amay says hopefully Tammy comes and scores the winner. All right, Amay.
I take anybody. I take an own goal from Real Madrid, dude. I don't give a shit.
I mean, if you remember that goal that Pepe Reina conceded, which hit the ball, the beach ball, you take that.
Yes,
beach ball
yes.
Point.
Man.
Bro, fuck Perez, fuck Madrid, bloody Galactico. Okay, all right.
I'd say that today.
Yeah, there are talks about the final being
I have
shifted
no
to-
idea why you censored the last word.
All right, bloody Galactico assholes. All right. There are talks about the final being shifted to Wembley if it's an all-English final because the issues in Istanbul related to COVID. Absolutely, it makes sense if it's an all-English final to be played in England, because just imagine you'll have fans traveling to Turkey as well, which is
Yeah.
again a high-risk COVID area, so it doesn't make any sense.
And it has been announced that Premier League will allow club fans for the last 2 league games of the season.
Only
So
home fans,
things
though,
are
I think.
better.
Only home
Yeah.
fans. Yeah.
Only home fans. Yeah. Simple logic लगा वरुण. There are more Chelsea fans than City fans, तो Chelsea जीतने से ज़्यादा परेशानी होगी Manchester United वालों को. All right, Shivam.
Because it's all about
Also,
them, right?
also, isn't Shivam a Real Madrid fan as well? So like, that is what he wants.
People can never understand Shivam.
I'm not
That's
sure.
fine.
Shivam should answer that.
मैनचेस्टर सिटी तो दो तीन के क्या ही सुनेंगे, सह लेंगे थोड़ा. All right, ठीक है 2-3 लोग हैं. Yes, okay, got it, bro. We are winning the Europa League. Would be more money earning headline than City. Okay. All right, Varun. Let's not talk about money and United. If any of you managed to see that Abraham Glazer clip doing rounds on
Oh
Sky.
yes,
Dude,
that
why does he
that
look like literally the like I remember saying the guy who's JP Morgan is the organ donors for Satan, but he looks like the guy who buys the organs. Like, oh my
He looks
God.
like he looks like the middleman you need to call for the organs, dude.
Dude, I
yeah.
think Guillermo del Toro is searching for him for his next movie. Like, holy shit, what is that guy?
He looks,
Man,
he
I need
looks
to see
evil,
this.
dude.
Wait.
I shouldn't. It's just a 40-second clip, so you can
He
easily
looks
watch
like
it.
a shaved owl, if I'm not
Yeah, bro.
wrong.
And why did you
Yeah.
have that ponytail? What are you keep hanging on for that for?
Yeah,
Like there is nothing here.
I
There
think
is
like it's like the
nada.
Bald
shares
and
of Man
ponytail.
United,
Imagine.
the shares of Man United, and like why are you hanging on to that? Both have the same answer because he likes it, Kushagar, and you can't do anything about it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
probably something. It's probably for something what LVG used to
Kushagra is
refer to.
Kushagra is absolutely breaking from inside as he laughs on that.
Yeah.
No, I'm just it's fine. Like, what do you can't do anything anymore, right? Like, I
And
mean, what do you do? I mean, all you can do is just hurt them in the pocket, is what I can say. Is like, don't buy merchandise, don't subscribe to the
yeah.
channels, don't buy anything that comes with a United label on it. You can continue
Yeah.
using Adidas. No one says don't use Adidas. Just don't buy United apparel from it. Don't buy it.
But you
Today,
know,
United fans have actually threatened TeamView, and I think
So yeah,
they've
so
posted a lot
they
of negative
downgraded.
reviews on TeamView.
I'm
Yeah.
forgetting which
Hey,
particular
just a
which particular app.
quick thought on this. Wouldn't it be like a supremely gigantic, huge FU if Real Madrid win the cup?
Yes,
Will
exactly.
win.
That is why I want it. That is why I
Like,
want it.
how do you,
I love
yeah.
so I love my football to be drama, and that will be the biggest drama of the year. Real Madrid going to change a competition that they won. What is the parade
Yeah.
going to be like? Is the parade going to be
dude,
like
honestly,
of teenagers crying? Of teenagers crying, as Florentino Perez was talking about. No one wants to watch a 90-minute football match.
Yeah.
man, I think Real Madrid get way more flack than they should for the Super League thing. But
Why?
anyway,
Why shouldn't they get it? Why shouldn't they get it? It was Perez's
because there were
idea.
11 other teams involved. Andrea Agnelli
No,
was
so, so,
deeply involved in the
so
whole thing.
primary
He
drivers were three:
doesn't matter. They
Real
all went
Madrid,
along, right?
Juventus, Manchester United. These were the three
Yeah.
primary drivers.
They all went
Yeah.
along, right?
No, yeah, I
So
mean, my point was similar to Sushil's. Like, if it worked out, they'd all be just happy dudes.
Hmm.
Yeah.
It's not
yeah,
fair to say one guy was
Vijay,
more
2 years
evil than
down
the
the line,
other.
you'll have a different proposal.
Yeah.
There
Exactly, and
was, there was.
I told you I'm done. I just want us to win the cup, but then I'm not going to say that this was the same as back then.
I don't think
Yeah.
it can ever. If okay, a good question for you, for us to ask you. Even if you do win, I'll ask you and Rege both. Will it ever compare to 2012? I understand the whole concept of winning it for the first time, this and that and the other, but just the way the season has been, will it ever compare?
No, I'm just saying 2012 was a different kind. I think this is the fact, the expectations. We were going against Barcelona and Bayern, and also coming from a Napoli draw that was just supremely against us in a season where we finished 10th in the league. So it had the underdog story written on multiple levels. Like, the scriptwriter did his research and everything and, built it up very well. It was like a perfect movie. But this one is sort of, like I said, it's sort of like the modern era version, where as we move towards the NFL thing, where every club just keeps rotating in terms of resources and players. I don't know. It'll be awesome for us to win, but you'd have to think of it from the perspective of the opposite of what that was. Those were like old dogs fighting their last fight, whereas this is like the young generation getting their first taste of glory. And from that perspective, I would relate. But in terms of Chelsea as a club, there's so much issues in terms of identity right now because of this ESL proposal, that it's hard to relate to it on a very human level with the club, but not the humans who are playing the game.
All
Yeah.
right, all right, fair enough. Uh, I'll come to the comments a little bit. If we have any, we just got a couple more comments, and I'll come to you, the panelists, after that. Manchester United will always have a soft spot for Real Madrid. All our number sevens go there. All right, yes, Shivam, that is true. By the way, those
When
number
did
sevens
Memphis
also
did?
got.
Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
all the number sevens that United fans care to remember go there. By the
Yeah.
way, those number sevens also got abused. Yes, both of them did. The ones that we care to remember.
Cantona
But
didn't go
yeah,
there, did he?
who what?
Cantona didn't go there, did he?
Cantona
Can
didn't.
Bro, clearly we're talking about Beckham and Ronaldo. I mean, I don't understand what is this fucking mystery that we're talking about. Seriously. Okay,
You know, in
you.
Fight Club, there is that thing he does where he inserts a porn clip in the normal film. That's Pratmesh.
Oh, lovely.
All right. All right. Okay, Sushil, just quickly, I don't know.
Sushil's, oh, he was almost frozen in the most SRK way possible.
Yeah, he was. He was. It's quite a lovely pose there. Sushil, talking about this match here. When we talk about the return of Sergio Ramos, of course, he was a player जो कि Real Madrid ने of course miss किया होगा last match, and we saw him in the stands, and he's always a presence, always up for the cheekiest of fouls, or probably not the cheekiest of fouls, not the most subtle of fouls. Given his red card record. Uh, how much of an impact does it make for Real Madrid to have Sergio Ramos in the back line, considering, if I'm not wrong, Varane would be missing today?
Yep.
Yeah, I
Eder,
think
Eder
Varane's
and
missing.
Eder Militao and Ramos will be the centre
So
back pair.
this will definitely reduce the pace, right?
Big time.
Yeah.
Of the defense, and that makes Timo Werner even more of a threat.
Yeah. And I think the other issue is a lot of the contributions that Ramos had, during their golden run of the Champions League. I think those have also tailed off a lot over the last couple of seasons. You don't see those performances as much anymore. Not for any reason other than he's just
Oh, lovely. Sushil is just giving mic drop moments.
No, it's okay.
Just look at his.
He's just. I mean, we could start a
So
guessing game,
perplexed.
trying to
Yeah.
guess what he
Yeah,
was about to say.
cliffhanger, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All
How the
right.
hell did he foul Salah that way?
he's
Angry.
he's just a pain in the ass. Is associated anyway.
I
chalo,
think
I'll
he's
put him
doing
on.
his best Timo version impression in front of goal.
The question loops forward to you, Anurag. Talking about Ramos being there in the defense there, does it make it a better opportunity for Chelsea to actually? Okay, we have Sushil back, so I'll probably. Sushil, can you hear us now? आवाज आ रही है?
Yeah, I don't know where I got cut off. Yeah, I
You
can hear
said
you. I don't
you
know
were
where I
just
got
about
cut off for
starting.
the
You
Ramos
were
thing.
just about starting. Yeah, just about starting.
Okay,
ऐसे कर
great.
ले.
Yeah. So I was just saying, the guy is in the twilight of his career. He doesn't have the same contributions as he used to. As Anurag said, he's not as pacey as he used to be. I don't think he was ever that pacey to begin with. So I think overall, he's a liability. The one place where he can make a difference is probably, during set pieces. I think that's still an edge that he has. But again, that's clutching at straws to some extent. I think Varane is going to be a big miss. He's their key player in defense. But when it comes down to facing this particular Chelsea side, I think particularly with Werner and Pulisic and these players in it, I don't think Ramos is going to do well against them.
By the way, just a official confirmation from Premier League that the United Liverpool game will take place on 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah,
We
I think
got that.
Kushagra mentioned it. Yeah.
So on the 13th, I think it's 7:45, right? The kickoff.
Yeah. We play 3 Premier League games in 5 days. So yeah.
God, another. So if it's 7:45, it's 10, 12, 15.
12:15.
Yes.
I
God.
think.
12:15. Welcome back, night stays.
No, I don't get it. United play 3 games. Is the next week of the Premier League the last week of the Premier League?
No, it isn't. It isn't.
So why do United?
What
play
is
3 games?
United team? What is the United team and Scotia doing right now? Let's ask some important questions.
What are they doing? What do you mean by that? They're doing
I'm
nothing.
asking why the hell are we talking about United?
I don't know. I don't know. This is a match discussed there. Anyway, coming
Just a
back to you.
breaking. It's all right. Yeah.
Yeah, coming back to you, Vijay, I'll, question on the Real Madrid attack. We did see towards the second half of the match there that Real Madrid did start finding their footing, and I'm pretty sure Zidane will, or at least I expect Zidane not to go with the back three again, because when he went with the back three, you could see all the three defenders were pulled to the pulled, all the two wider centre halves were pulled, and there was a lot of space for the likes of Conte and Mason Mount to make their runs in, and that really affected the Real Madrid defense and helped Chelsea. Do you think they'll change tactics, and how how much of a change of tactics would Chelsea display if heading into the game? Do you think they will line up in a similar manner, or do you think they will be in a more adaptive sense as compared to what they were last week?
Um, to be honest, in terms of formation, Tuchel has been quite uh, what can I say, predictable in the sense that he knows how his defense should always shape up. I think the greatest flexibility of late that I saw was actually against Fulham, where the way in which we attacked, we had like four attackers always in their half. So it was more like a 4-2-4 or something. And that's because I think he knew that that was a team with a weakened defense or a weaker defense. Um, and these players were rested for this Real Madrid game. So it could be said that he managed his tactics based on this game in mind. But what he has in mind for this game, that's a very difficult question for me to answer, because I think, as Rege had mentioned earlier, I don't know if he would go with Havertz just because this is the game where you really need clinicality, even though
Yeah,
pace does count for a lot. If you're going to spawn chances in a game like this, losing confidence in the first part of the game, where if you do have that extra energy and you're playing
yeah,
against a veteran Real Madrid side, it could count against you. I can't predict Tuchel's tactics nor Zidane's, because honestly, my mind can't go there as a fan right now, because it's sort of like how can I say, I'm expecting anything, because this is that night where there's a little bit of magic in the air. I hope, because I
yeah.
remember in the previous final, in the previous leg, Kante was attacking like crazy. Like, if
Oh
I'm
man, he
not
Yes,
was
wrong,
beautiful.
it
right?
was
He was
wonderful.
he was
I wouldn't
gliding
even know
on the
what to
pitch.
call that
He
performance.
was
Yeah,
gliding on the pitch like a Messi who plays in centre mid, dude.
exactly. And I don't know if that was a tactical thing or just Conte,
Yeah,
on crack or something, because it was insanely
no.
good. And I
Whatever
think
it is, give that to us
It
again,
looked
dude.
yeah,
it looked
Whatever it
planned
is,
though.
we want to
To
work
be
with him.
honest, it
yeah,
looked planned because if you look at Tony Kroos's work rate, what he had back then and work rate what he has now is entirely different. Whereas if you look at Mason Mount, Mount will attract himself more towards someone like a Casemiro for that matter, and I think you probably look at someone like maybe Havertz today, or even Pulisic trying to attract that area with Luka Modric, because Luka Modric still has the energy, but you don't see
hmm
that same energy with Tony Cruz. So maybe this is where N'Golo Kante can actually free himself up. There will be times in games when you will see all of these players trying to take different players because you don't want to get used to all of that. And I think that extra passer in midfield called Jorginho will help today, because
Can I
that is
can I
where
just say, Kante is the only player in our squad that I would think would be good enough for their squad, like hands down, no doubts. And
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that game where he performed in the last leg, he was as good as two or three of their players. And it's hard
Big
to
time.
predict that sort of performance, like prepare
yeah,
for it, because that was just sublime. And to see it happen two times, I don't know if we're that lucky. What I am grateful for is that Chelsea as a squad are at full strength except for Kovacic, who I think will not
yeah,
be as great a loss as the other players. So, to what Prathamesh was saying, yeah, we are currently a full energy squad, but Real
yeah,
do have, a few players to match that, which I would be wary of, because they are not
yeah.
just any players who can match our energies; they are Real Madrid
Exactly.
Galactico players. Yeah.
Yeah, true that.
Just I was reading a article on a very technical one on how having two slow center backs draws the entire team back and makes the entire team's progression a lot more difficult as far as if they really want to play out from the back. And I think as a Manchester United fan, just reading that article was like watching the last 2 years on replay in like 10 minutes. So yeah, I think right now, especially in the last 2, 3, 4 months, I think Real Madrid have found that a little difficult because there are plenty of occasions when Eder Militao had to come in because either Varane or Sergio Ramos, both of them are consistently injured at some or the other point. Now
Yeah,
that Ramos and Eder are available today, it can work. It can occasionally work. They can if they are prepared to have that defensive solidity and compromise a little more on the attacking front. Maybe that can work.
yeah,
But again, can you today is one of those days you can't 100% compromise on it. You'll need at least.
yeah.
I think Real Madrid definitely have to score, right?
Yeah, Real Madrid
Yeah, yeah,
definitely have to
yeah, yeah.
score. But
They
Anurag,
have to score.
do you think like they think in a way where Zidane probably compromises on that part today because he knows if these guys are left vulnerable, there is a massive possibility of conceding a couple of goals, which I think the other day they
I
should
would
have,
think
but they did not.
I would think he would because eventually, as I said yesterday about PSG, I think you don't need like 3 or 4 goals today. You just need one,
Yeah,
and you can get that playing even if you are playing like six at the back, you could still
yeah.
get that
I
one.
just, I
So
also
And we have
feel,
seen,
yeah,
yeah,
Real
yeah,
Kushal.
Madrid
yeah, Kushal.
players would be way more professional than PSG, right?
Yeah,
Obviously.
I think PSG, you can always sense that sense of impetuous childishness coming out. We
yeah.
saw what Di Maria did last night. I mean, what the hell was that, really? I mean, I
He
know your team's
Manchester is not a
losing.
place for
The
him.
next the
Right?
next 7 minutes following that, you could
What
almost witness there was
nonsense!
one person
And
getting a
then,
red
and
card.
then, and then, players coming out in the post match saying the referee told me to fuck off. Oh, what do you want? A little band-aid along with that there? What? What? He told you to fuck off because you were pissing him off, so you told him to fuck off.
Yeah, and
Because
I
all
am
you
pretty
did
sure
the entire match, all you did was cry. And I
exactly.
mean, they absolutely nailed you to the mast right there, Man City. What are you talking about? Literally, like, they rammed their boat over you and sunk you down like PSG. I don't know. Stop
Sushil, do
crying
you
about
think
it.
Klopp is just licking his lips because now you're allowed to say fuck off to referees? There's a precedent that's set.
Even now, the
And
players were saying ref told us to fuck off. The players didn't say fuck off to the referee.
Even
yeah,
Kushagra, just adding to that, yesterday what City pulled off. I'll perpetually have my agenda against Pep, but that was, 5, 10 years down the line, you'd still remember that performance. That was something else,
yeah,
especially the way they were attacking. Every time Kevin De Bruyne had the ball, he was finding that one
yeah,
killer of a pass. I think it was that pass to Phil Foden before the Riyad Mahrez goal. Uh,
yeah,
just so sublime, the way he found him in that channel, in that path,
yeah,
and
And
obviously Foden.
Riyad
Yeah,
Mahrez for me has my vote for one of the most underrated players in Europe right now. I mean, the
yeah.
last
yeah.
couple of years, if not more, because
Best
whenever
team.
we do talk about fantastic right wingers, rarely do we ever talk about Riyad Mahrez,
Riyad
and
Mahrez. Yeah.
he's been amazing. He's been amazing last 2 seasons.
Kushagra,
So
isn't
He
Riyad
has
obviously,
come from
Mahrez?
that French division,
Yeah,
just like the other
yeah,
amazing player
and
that we were talking
N'Golo
about,
Kante.
N'Golo Conte. Yeah,
Isn't
wonderful
Riyad
stuff.
Mahrez like the kind of winger who you like traditionally you look at wingers, right? Someone like Ian Robin, you look at someone who likes to come in from the right hand side and score from his left foot. But Riyad Mahrez also has that extra bit of quality where he knows how to position himself as a pseudo striker, get into those positions where he can actually tap goals in. And I think that is something new that we have seen in his game that wasn't there at Leicester. With
yeah,
Leicester,
I think
his game was all about his own work and depending on his own work.
Not
But
having
here
a
he's
striker,
using,
yeah,
yeah,
not having a striker, I think is just forced one of those people to add that extra bit of skill. And I
yeah,
think Riyad Mahrez, Foden, and Kevin De Bruyne, all three of them,
all of
they're
them.
just smart enough. They're just smart enough
Yeah,
to get into.
I
I
I
think it's just
remember
wonderful watching them.
one of my favorite goals. I mean, for some reason, is that Champions League final goal against Juventus when Ronaldo made that very late dart inside the box to a Modric ball, and people still. I mean, that is the intelligence of how to move in a box. And if you look at Riyad Mahrez over the last few months, I think he scored a hat trick as well recently. I'm not sure against which team, but even in that game, you saw the intelligence of how to make runs inside the box, which for a winger is a very difficult art. We saw that with Sterling when he got in with Guardiola initially and how he used to win them games by getting into good positions. And I think we're seeing that with Riyad Mahrez, that extra upgrade that Pep Guardiola has definitely given him. So I mean, as far as underrated wingers go, I feel, as you guys rightly said, Riyad Mahrez definitely has to be there in that list, and probably, if not probably the best right winger in the league at this point of time.
All right. I hope the number. Rege, I'll come to you right after this. I hope the number six stays and doesn't move there. All right. As if Anurag has stuff to do, Ratko, Atul says, okay. Varun says, Van de Beek, Telles, Amad Diallo finally getting minutes. मालूम नहीं वरुण ये कब होगा, but let's see. अच्छा वो 3 matches की बात कर रहे हो आप. Let's see. Let's see. Don't be
So
surprised to see.
just about that, Kushagra, we play Sunday against just Aston Villa. Monday
Yeah,
is a day off. Tuesday we play Leicester City at Old Trafford. Wednesday is a day off. Thursday we again play Liverpool at Old Trafford. I think even the Villa game is
Don't
at
United,
Park.
don't United play someone at the weekend as well?
yeah, they will.
I don't think so. I think there's that. Yeah, I'll have to check that. I guess so.
We'll
Yeah,
check it
we'll
out.
That
just
We'll
will
check
make
it out.
it.
yeah, we'll just check that out. Yeah,
But if
yeah. So
that will mean 4 games in like 7 days. So
I
yeah,
don't understand. Okay, okay, fine. I
see,
think I can check that out.
United
So,
United
talk
play
about
Aston Villa.
talk about Champions League teams, not Europa ones. Fair enough, Thomas. There are three United fans end up talking about that. I agree. True. What a performance from Kante last time against Madrid.
Yeah,
Sergio Ramos to injure anyone today. I'll come to you with this, Rege. Is Mendy injured? Ferland Mendy? Can anyone find out? I'm not. I think Ferland Mendy is not there for this particular leg. But if someone could
yeah,
confirm that, we need to talk about Mahrez. Is what Atul's saying. Yes, I
yeah.
agree. He's a fantastic player, the new African king, Atul. Aston Villa at the weekend. Yes, yes,
We
Varun, we
play
have been talking
Koshagra.
about.
We play Villa on Sunday. Then we play Leicester on Tuesday. We play, as Anurag said, Liverpool on Thursday. Then we play Fulham on Sunday, and then we play
full
Wolverhampton on another
charge.
Wednesday. Yeah,
Do we even have that many Premier League games remaining?
yeah, we do.
Those are the Wolverhampton one is the last one. And by the
Yeah,
way, that's not on. Is that on Wednesday?
It can't be
yeah,
Wednesday.
Doesn't
It
the
would be a
final
weekend, dude. It would be a weekend, dude. It
bro?
would be
It
a weekend.
see the final game of it's a Sunday.
it's
From
a
it
That
Sunday.
is
starts
a
on
Sunday.
one side.
Yeah, yeah, it's a Sunday. Yeah,
All
The
right, I'll come
final
to you,
game
Rege.
happens simultaneously.
Enough discussing all of this, Premier League, hoopla that we have.
yeah, yeah.
Coming back to the Champions League. Talking about threats to Chelsea. Who do you perceive as the greatest threats to Chelsea from the Real Madrid side? Of course, Karim Benzema तो यार एकदम basic से threat हो गए. But उसके अलावा, who do you perceive as big threats to the team? And heading beyond that, in your team, would you like to make any changes from the last week?
Yeah, coming to who will be a threat, I think the biggest success that we had in the first game was keeping Modric absolutely quiet. Tony Cruz had his moments, but Modric was pin drop silent in that. So if that has to continue, because that automatically you won't see Casemiro and Cruz controlling the game. If you take out Modric with basically what Conte was doing, not giving him any space on the ball, absolutely no space. So yeah, he becomes an automatic threat. And other than that, I think I think Vinicius Junior, or who I think he's going to play on the left wing. So keeping him quiet as well, because we know what he did was as Liverpool, and that exact argument about Real Madrid having these 15-minute patches in different games, especially in the Champions League, where they absolutely take the game away. And he's that kind of a player who perceives that threat. So these two players, if you're ruling out Benzema, obviously, because I mean, what a man, what a player, absolutely world class. What he did in the previous game as well, that finish, that touch, you, I mean, how underrated has he been over the years?
Yeah, man.
And then Hazard, uh, if he, uh, I mean, you saw glimpses of it in the previous game. It just scares you, man.
Did
If
we? Did
at,
we?
I mean, I
यार
just
मेरे
saw.
को
I mean,
हैजार्ड से
obviously,
किस बात का डर है यार. हो गया मतलब अब. आई नो तेरे को बुरा लगता है सुन सुन के, but he's done, buddy. He won't hurt you guys.
Yeah, that's. I mean, look. Uh, he's Hazard. He's no Vinicius Junior. Let's just say
So
that.
difficult for him to bring himself to that
Yeah.
realization.
No, but all the Eden
I
Hazard can
mean,
always step up. That's the thing.
you,
There is only
and
one way for
if he
Hazard
if
right
he if he does, he takes the game away, man. Matlab,
Yeah.
that's he's still. I
Agreed,
mean,
agreed.
despite all the injuries, he's still Eden Hazard. Despite everything that
Uh,
he's been through,
Fair enough, fair enough.
and
I was just trying
if
to,
he finds
pull your
his
leg.
game,
No worries. Yeah.
yeah. But I today, it's. I mean, I hope you are right today. That's
Almost
the thing.
almost रोने लगा सर.
Almost. Yeah, but isn't he only 30 years
I get
old? Like
that,
he
but
still has a lot of time to rediscover his lost magic in the last year or 2 years, and he can
for
still
that to
be a very
happen,
effective
Prathamesh,
player.
he needs to play 5, 7, 10 games in a row. Unfortunately,
But
that's
वो
not
तो
happening.
होता ही नहीं है.
That happens, he won't rediscover
That he
anything.
has to work on it. He has to work on it now. But there is still scope, is what I'm
भाई
saying.
I
कैसे
still, I
करेगा
still,
भाई?
I still give massive
क्या ही
credit to
करेगा वो?
Marina Granovskaya. एकदम
Yeah,
सही टाइम पे उसको मूव आउट किया, इतना
my
सारा पैसा भी ले
word.
लिया उसके लिए. भाई कहाँ है ये, कहाँ है ये? क्या? हाँ हाँ, बता बता देगी बता.
Also, कमेंट्स में किसी ने लिखा था ना रामोस किसको फोड़ेगा. I mean, it's
Yeah,
absolutely
Sushil,
fully.
this
Return
comment
of the
is for you
stars.
as well. Sergio Haramos to injure anyone today.
वही बात पे मैं बोल रहा हूँ कि क्रिस्टियन पुलिसिक शुड प्ले एब्सोल्युटली कीप दैट 10 मीटर डिस्टेंस फ्रॉम हिम एट ऑल मोमेंट्स इन द गेम क्योंकि
Social distancing.
हाँ सोशल डिस्टेंसिंग
Recommended.
बिकॉज इफ वी लूज टुडे वी स्टिल हैव अ टॉप फोर फाइट
नजदीक आए तो
नेक्स्ट
सैनिटाइजर
सैटरडे.
फेंको उस पे.
In his eyes, straight in his eyes.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take a few
Yeah.
comments. Also to Shivam's question on Mendy. Thanks to Pratmesh, I got to know Mendy remains doubtful for today. It looks very unlikely that he'll play, but we should have the
Oh,
lineup for you guys in another 5 to 6 minutes. We'll have more
Yeah.
clarity there. I'll take a few comments and come back to you boys. You can give me
जैसा
your.
टिकर चला.
There is some background noise from someone, so if you guys could keep yourselves on mute, thank you. Uh, all right. So he's talking about the fixtures: Aston Villa, then Leicester and Liverpool. All right. United play a lot in the next 6 7 days apparently. Rohan says, Rege bhai, your preferred front three for Chelsea. All right, Rege, if you could answer that for us, and then I'll take the rest.
Yeah, the same as the previous game. Havertz stays out, Werner plays because you see you can't rely on Havertz's clinicality as much as you can do on Werner's pace because that is 100% assurance that he gives because you never know, man. Icardi is pretty clinical. Yesterday he was anything but that, and that is something
Absolutely.
that can happen with
He
Havertz.
was
Get
lost
isolated.
yesterday.
Exactly. So I would rather have that Werner nuisance on the wings, especially when you're playing with Pulisic as well. That's dead pace, you know. So
Yeah.
just and that worked in the previous game. So just stick to it.
All right, fair enough. Thanks to Sushil. Sushil just informed us Mendy is back. If Erland
Yeah.
Mendy is back on the field, he makes a big difference to the left hand
Yeah,
side
man.
of Real Madrid. I think he makes them very much more compact, and let's see how it goes. Asensio is what Shivam is talking about. I suppose giving us the Real Madrid scorer for tonight. Also says good night, boys. T10 time. Chelsea won, Real Madrid won. Madrid win on penalties. All right. Thank you for your predictions. We'll take the predictions from the boys here. But before we do that, I'd like to know the front three that you would prefer. I'll go to you, Pratnesh. The front three for Real Madrid that you prefer tonight. Who do you think could be the
Um,
starting?
just a small thing to add. Apparently, Nacho could start today instead of Odriozola. That's what some people have
Yeah,
been
at
talking
right
about
right
among us.
back. Yeah. Or it is okay.
That's
Nacho has been their, get out of jail free card, right? Like they play him at whatever position they
जो
need
भी
him, left
डिफेंस
back.
में जो भी डिफेंस
Uh,
में इंजरी होती है नाचो वहां खेलता है.
yeah, I've seen him play at center midfield as well. I mean, in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
league.
yeah.
So
Yeah, so he's
he's done
played
Nacho is,
everything.
all the six defensive positions or holding midfield
yeah.
positions. He's played all six of them.
I mean, yeah. I
Lovely
mean,
stuff.
he will go down as a legend. I mean, people won't count him as a Galactico anyway, but he will still go down as a legend for Real Madrid over the years. He's played so many positions in so many crunch games as well.
Just like Lucas Vasquez, right? Like I mean,
Yeah,
the same
Lucas
thing.
Vasquez has
Ah,
played right back, right wing. He
lovely
scored
guy.
a important penalty in one of the Champions League finals as well. So he's quite a good player. But yes, talking about the front three, See, probably if you give a choice, I would like to see Vinicius, Benzema, and Hazard. I think. Uh,
Real Madrid have given their lineup, by the way, on their. I'm sorry to cut you off, Prathamesh.
yeah.
It's Eder and Sergio Ramos, the centre back pairing, and Nacho starts, and Ferland Mendy is there as well. Yes, the
Yeah.
midfield is the same old one, and Hazard starts instead of Vinicius Junior.
Okay.
Alongside,
Start.
I'm guessing Benzema and I can't see. Oh, sorry, Vinicius plays,
Vinicius.
Benzema plays, and so does Hazard. So I think Asensio drops
Yeah.
off today.
Yeah.
Uh,
That's what I was just talking about. Like, I would like to see
so
that because it is a very
Hazard,
mobile.
Benzema, and Vinicius, isn't
Yeah.
it? So that's an interesting front
That's
three.
good because it is very
Yeah.
mobile. You can expect even if in certain situations Benzema can either go to a left or right, in certain kind of attacks, and still they will be direct and mobile enough to manage
They can
themselves. And
even play. They can even sometimes play Benzema and Vinicius here
Real
and
Madrid
Hazard
announced,
behind them at the same time.
yeah, Real Madrid announced it 5 minutes back. Chelsea are yet to do it.
yeah,
All
So they,
right, all right.
so
I think they will announce it anytime now. It's impending
yeah,
now.
There's
yeah.
news Havertz and Odoi to start for Chelsea. Uh,
All
Ronaldo,
right,
oh
all right.
lovely.
So that means no Werner,
yeah, probably yes.
or could Werner?
That
Also,
could be
so
possible.
Havertz and Odoi. So where does Pulisic play? Pulisic plays as the
No,
false nine,
Odoi will play instead of Aspilicueta as
Aspilicueta will be
right
right
wing back.
right
wing
wing
back,
back.
wing
Right
back.
wing back. Yeah.
Hey, what are your thoughts
So
before quickly we start the match, Rege? What's your thought on Odoi playing
I
wing
mean,
back?
excellent approach. Could be tricky, but they're going all out in attack. If you're playing Odoi and not even Reece James, by the way, last game you saw
Reece James is
Aspilicueta
on
play.
the bench or what?
Yeah,
Should be Odoi will definitely play right wing back, no other position.
yeah.
All right, fair enough. If you get the Chelsea lineup, do let us know. Sushil,
Do
I'll
you
come
Or
to
do you
you.
play
probably
back
they've
four? Play back four?
no, never. Probably this will they've done this after watching the City game last night and what Riyad
Yeah,
Mahrez and Bernardo Silva did on the right wing. I mean, I'm just kidding.
yeah,
Obviously, it's miles different from what they
I
did.
mean,
But
it's a massive drop off in terms of capabilities. The Man City and Real
yeah.
Madrid we're talking about.
yeah, I mean,
But
exactly.
but
Yeah,
yeah,
Man
coming to you,
City,
Sushil.
the moment Kevin De Bruyne and some other player were dropping off, Raheem Sterling and Gabriel Jesus were coming in, and I was like, how the hell that does this happen at a team?
Okay,
And
there's the
Yeah.
lineup. I think.
Chalo,
Yeah,
I
there's
can
the
take your
lineup.
final predictions as well. Final predictions. Can you give us your final lineup?
Yeah. It's Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Aspilicueta. One second. I can't see Odoi over here, so I'll just read it out. They'll just put it randomly. It's Mendy, Rudiger, Christensen, Jorginho, Thiago Silva, Conte, Werner, Mount, Chilwell, Aspilicueta, Havertz. Uh,
okay,
So
no.
no
Sorry.
Odoi.
This is one second. It's Mendy, Christensen, Silva, Rudiger, Aspilicueta, Jorginho, Conte, Chilwell, Mount, Havertz, Werner. So Pulisic does not play. Yeah, Pulisic does not
Oh,
oh,
play.
that's interesting.
That doesn't make any
very
sense to
interesting.
me. Why
Neither
does
do.
Pulisic not play?
Probably because
I
Sergio Ramos is playing.
All right, we'll start. We'll start just a little bit of a reaction to the team, Sushil, and also if you could give us what your predicted scoreline for the night would be. Both, I know, it will be difficult for you to remember both the sides, but with Real Madrid, the essential changes are, of course, Nacho in for Odriozola, and of course Hazard coming in for Asensio. With Chelsea, we can see the changes. The changes are that Pulisic isn't playing. That's the main change for Chelsea. I think Havertz didn't start the last leg, if I'm not wrong. Say Rege?
No,
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 Havertz
Havertz
didn't
did not.
start, right?
No, no, no.
no.
So
It was
Pulisic, Havertz comes in for Pulisic, right?
yeah.
essentially, yeah.
All right, all right. Looking at that, Sushil, what do you think the scoreline will be tonight, and your thoughts on the match, final thoughts?
2-1 to Chelsea, and I think it'll be a topsy-turvy game. I think I have that. Since yesterday's semi-final was so cut and dry, I think this one will be exciting. So 2-1.
I hope so.
Um,
I hope so.
yeah, sad that Pulisic isn't playing, but yeah, I think Rege can maybe try to explain why that's the case.
I cannot.
Um, okay, so yeah,
Very
that's
straightforward.
just weird. But yeah,
True.
I think overall both teams look solid. So yeah, looking forward to the big game.
All right, all right. Pratmesh, coming to you now that you've seen both the lineups, can you give us your score predictions for the night?
2-0 Chelsea. I mean, for everything that people talk about it being Zidane, and see, the only reason I would like Zidane to win is because a lot of people have been saying that Zidane has been winning the Champions League only because of Cristiano, which is not the case. Zidane himself is a tactical genius. I mean, you could call him that in a way as well. So I think Zidane has his own credentials, but Chelsea winning the Champions League would be really satisfying. I mean, personally, because first of all, it would make the man right below me at this point of time a little happy, and we all deserve our bit of happiness at this point of time. So I mean, fair enough. Bachpan ka dost hai, to support for him.
All right, all right. Coming to you, Rege. I know, it's a dumb question to ask, but if you could give me a predicted score line for the night, and also because tu Chelsea favor karega, so you have to give me a scorers also.
Uh, I am also hoping for a 2-1 win. I think we would be restricting. I think it will be special if we don't let in a goal. But if that's
Special.
the case, I'm hoping for a Werner Fernando Torres 2012 moment. Uh,
Oh,
Ooh. I was
yeah,
waiting for that comment today. For some reason, I've bbeen waiting for that comment.
that's the only way I can say Werner is scoring. I want Werner to score, so I just made a reference to Torres.
A
So
penalty by Werner.
probably Werner does not take the penalty, dude.
उसको penalty नहीं
Jorginho
देंगे
would
यार,
take it.
But
उसको
दे
लेगा
दो
ही
Jorginho
नहीं
would
मतलब,
take it.
Jorginho.
दे दो यार.
I mean,
ऐसा थोड़ा ना
he
होता
Edward Mendy will take the penalty before
है.
So
All right, all right.
2-1 win. Benzema does not score. If Hazard scores, I am suspending myself from all lives for 3 months.
Are you even if it's a 2-1 loss, if Hazard scores, would you slightly cry a little?
Obviously, man. Obviously, I mean, oh my god, to even imagine that he's gonna be playing in a white jersey at Stamford Bridge makes me
Yeah,
want to puke. Honestly, not cry.
exactly.
But
Yeah, this was like Cristiano when we saw Cristiano score at Old
I
Trafford.
bet, I bet,
It's the
I bet,
same
as
thing.
close as it
It's the
is.
same thing basically because both of them always had a dream of going to Real Madrid anyway, right? Hazard, it was always clear he wanted to leave. With Ronaldo also, it was always clear. Anyway, we'll come to you, Anurag, just a little bit. Give me a couple of minutes. I'll take the comments. Just like Ashley Young is what Atul says. All right. Yeah, like Lucas Vasquez is talking about. Yeah, 2-1 win for Chelsea. Mount doing a Foden-like performance for the London Blues, not Browns. Okay, all right, Varun. Varun says, Shivam, T10 में कितनी टीम्स को सपोर्ट करता है? शिवम कहता है पैसे को.
Dream 11, my God, what has it made of people?
All right. Atul says, you know what's not mobile? Immobile. All right. Yes, yes, yes. Lucas Vasquez is Ashley Young, not Nacho. Atul. All right. Okay. Someone tweeted that Werner and Havertz both are playing. Confirm करते हैं जल्द. Confirm हो गया है. I think Rohan. Both of them are playing. Fully to be used as an X Factor substitute. All right. Anurag, quickly, if you could give us your prediction for the night.
I think a lot of Chelsea's success in the last game, a 1-1 away to Real Madrid, I would consider that a massive success. That was largely based on that midfield working really well and Kante doing whatever so phenomenally. And I think Kante and Jorginho have a huge job in hand today because most of that that X factor, that attack, as far as Real Madrid are concerned, that comes from that central areas. It comes from Tony Cruz. Tony Cruz, he doesn't move much. He just stands there. He just pings long balls like for fun, and he'll do that even if it's 45. You place the ball underneath his feet, he'll still be able to do that. That guy is just inhuman as far as that is concerned, and we've seen that in the Liverpool game. He didn't have to run much, and
Yeah.
that is something Chelsea ensured tactically. That was quite brilliant of them to ensure Luka Modric and Toni Kroos didn't get even an ounce of space. Uh, Casemiro, again, attacking wise, is not going to threaten that as much as some other CDMs do in the world. So it was fine. Uh, Again, it's going to depend on how they lock these two people out. Because if you're going to give them space for even 10-20 minutes, I think that goal is definitely coming. Because
Yeah.
Karim Benzema, one thing of late, he has been decently clinical. One thing he's been accused of
Yeah.
for a long period of time, uh, he is converting almost every time he gets in the end of some of the other chance, he's converting. He's been very, very clinical ever since Ronaldo left. I think he's not been getting enough credit for that. And so, yeah, if Jorginho and Kante can do a job, I think you can just the others are I wouldn't say they're non-existent. They're just going to be pieces of wood, obviously. But
Yeah.
still the protagonist of this entire, if Chelsea really have to go to the finals, it's solely down to what Conte and Jorginho have to do today. So, but yes, I expect them to do a decent job. I think it's going to be 1-0 Chelsea, and not so very entertaining. Let's say the lineups don't give
Well,
me any hope of entertainment today.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, as I said yesterday, brain says Chelsea, heart says Real Madrid. But let's see. Generally, it goes with the way of the brain, as we saw last
Yeah.
night with Man City. I am all geared up to see a Tuchel versus Pep final. I don't know exactly what Tuchel will have for Pep in that final, but let's see. Let's see. I think the panel has spoken. 4 out of the 5 are for sure. Very sure about a Chelsea victory. I'm saying I don't
Kushaga,
know.
come on, penalties. Penalties.
Yeah, 1-1, and I want to see a penalty shootout, man. Come on, give me a penalty shootout, please. आज सब united ये देखो रेगे रेगे you guys can win on the penalty shootout. I'm fine with that. Just I want to see a
Yeah.
penalty shootout. Is that
And Werner
that's
doing a
all?
Panenka to win it.
Oh, that
Scoring,
would be.
Ooh.
scoring. Werner scoring with a Panenka. Yes,
When's the
Why
last
not?
time
Yeah,
we
why not?
had a penalty? When was the last time we had a penalty shootout in the knockouts?
Oh
Oh,
god, that's a long time back.
that's a long time back. I
did we have
remember
any
Stefan.
any shootouts last year?
No, no, we did
Uh,
not.
Yeah, generally one-legged ties में कम ही
we
होता
had
है
one.
shootout.
Huh.
No, but
Last
even
time, though,
Last time,
I
none of the ties even went past the 90-minute mark. I
yeah,
think all
even
of
the
the
them.
la-
Liverpool season, I don't remember
yeah,
any
the
penalties.
last time I remember a penalty shootout was Bayer Leverkusen versus I don't know, it was Atletico Madrid. That's the last one I remember. It's in 2015 or something. I mean, I know
हुए
that.
होंगे हुए होंगे.
हाँ, उसके बाद तो हुए हैं. I mean, Real Madrid has been in one of them.
We've
So
had extra times. I remember that I'm sure all of you remember that Real Madrid Bayern Munich extra time where Marcelo made that run through the
yeah,
midfield and Ronaldo
where
scored that goal.
yeah,
Oh, that was an insane football, and I'm
man,
sure.
that was.
Look at that smile from Sid. इसको अभी nostalgia करना है Real Madrid का.
I mean, that was
Yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo. That was just what he does in knockout stages. Like,
We haven't
चलो
had
that
one
was
since the 2016 final.
yeah, that's what I was
Oh,
also
oh
looking for.
yes, yes, yes,
2016
yes.
final is the last one where Atleti got
talk about
unlucky.
boring finals. That
Yeah,
was boring.
Well, I mean, you a Real Madrid fan or an Atletico fan won't say that, but let's see.
yeah.
Let's see if we get a chip, if we get a penalty shootout this late stage in the tournament or not. All the best to both Real Madrid and Chelsea, and thank you so much for Pratmesh, Anurag, Siddharth, Sushil, and of course Vijay as well for joining us in the panel here today. And oh, thank you, Shivam. Shivam's giving me hearts. I suppose Shivam too wants penalty shootouts. Lovely there. Thank you so much to everyone who's joined in the comments. We will be live. We will be live again tomorrow. Previewing the both the semi-finals or the Europa League. We'll request Sushil and Siddharth and others. यहाँ दुनिया हिलाएंगे. Okay, भाई हिला दो. Very good. And other Champions League elitists to come down to the Europa League level and give their
Yeah,
opinions on that dirt poor
yeah,
rich dirt poor league that is. Also, massive congratulations once again to Jose Mourinho for becoming the AS Roma manager. I haven't had a chance to chat about that, so we'll try to chat about that tomorrow. How Roma are back into their ruins. Last penalty shootout
come
was
on, man.
Atletico versus Real and Champions League finals. All right, okay, fair enough. All right. Thank you so much, Shivam, for that, and thank you so much to everyone for watching. This is Kushag signing off on behalf of the Sports Doyen. Do check out the website, the Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts, and of course, we're there on LinkedIn as well. Up until tomorrow, I'm signing off, and we'll see you soon.